Hey guys, welcome to today's video where we're going to be discussing 3 dark horse MVP candidates for 2020. Before we get started, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow. And on a quick side note, if you don't already know, I've been writing some articles for the updog.com, which is basically a sports article website where anyone under the age of 22 can post articles on any sports topic that they're interested in. If any of you are, interested in reading some of the articles on the website, feel free to go check those out. I'll leave a link to them in the description down below. There are some really interesting articles up, and we're coming out with new content daily. Secondly, if any of you are under the age of 22 and are interested in doing some sports writing, then you can sign up on the updog.com immediately. By the way, it's free and you can write as much or as little as you want. The only requirements are that you're under 22 and are interested in sports writing. If this is something that even partially interests you, why not give it a shot? It's a good thing to put on a resume, and once again, you can write as much or as little as you want. I'll leave the link in the description down below for those that are interested. Now let's dive right into the video, and I hope you enjoy. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing 3 dark horse MVP candidates. These are going to be MVP candidates that aren't maybe your big name guys, or maybe people that you aren't thinking about. You're probably thinking about Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, those kind of players. But I'm going to take it 1 or 2 tiers down and give you some other players that could end up winning MVP. Let's start in Buffalo with Bills quarterback Josh Allen. Last season, Josh Allen really shined at times. In 2019, he played in all 16 games, threw for over 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. He definitely improved from his 2018 stats, but he also developed a little bit as a mobile quarterback too. In 16 games, he rushed for over 510 yards and 9 rushing touchdowns, and the year before he had 630 rushing yards and 8 rushing touchdowns. So he's a really good mobile quarterback. He's also just a really good pocket quarterback too. Allen has a big arm. He's able to make every single throw on the football field that he needs to, and overall, I really like Allen in Buffalo. But why do I think Allen could be an MVP kind of player in 2020? So if you look at what the Bills did on offense this offseason, they really added a lot. Obviously, they brought in Stephon Diggs, who's going to be a real impact player for that Buffalo team. Last year, Buffalo was in the bottom half of the league in offense, and Diggs is a guy to take them over the top. With Josh Allen and Diggs, that's going to be good. But it's not just because they brought in Stephon Diggs that Allen has emerged into an MVP candidate. Last year, as I said, he shined at times, but he's also got a good running game behind him. He's got Devin Singletary and Zach Moss in the backfield, and he's got John Brown and Cole Beasley as other wide receivers. Plus, if Dawson Knox continues to evolve and emerge as a good tight end, then he's got a big guy to look for in the passing game. Also, that offensive line is definitely underrated. Deion Dawkins is an above-average left tackle. Quentin Spain, Mitch Morse, Brian Winters are okay, and although Cody Ford did struggle at times at right tackle, who said Josh Allen even needed an O-line? He's a mobile quarterback. He's able to get out of the pocket and make throws on the run. And although a solid O-line is important for Josh Allen, I'm not too worried. As I said, Deion Dawkins is an above-average left tackle, and he's a good player to protect Josh Allen's blind side. But overall, I like the weapons that this Buffalo team has, and I think Josh Allen could really thrive. Now let's move on to Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler, and he won 2016's Offensive Rookie of the Year. But Prescott, coming into his 5th season next year, what did he do in 2019? So for starters, he played in all 16 games, threw for over 4,900 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions on a 65.1 completion percentage. So Dak really was one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL last year. If any of you are fantasy fans, then you know that Dak Prescott was, I think, quarterback 2 or maybe 3 last season. So he was definitely among the NFL's best in 2019. But why do I think he could be an MVP candidate in 2020? So every year, people are like, the Dallas Cowboys have a stacked team. And to be honest, I've definitely been part of that noise. But, I mean, just look at their lineup. I mean, they're absolutely stacked on offense. And Dak has all the weapons he's ever needed to be a real impact player for this Dallas team. He's got Ezekiel Elliott in the run game. Elliott is one of the NFL's best running backs, and he really takes the pressure off Dak Prescott. With the pressure gone from Dak Prescott, Prescott has time in the pocket to find his receivers in Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb. They did have Cooper and Gallup last year, but Lamb is the rookie that they drafted in the first round this offseason. Lamb is a big play guy, and he reminds me of a toned-down DeAndre Hopkins. Therefore, with these great wide receivers and a great running back, Dak Prescott can do a lot of damage, but he's also got one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. He's got Tyron Smith manning his blind side, Lyle Collins manning right tackle, and he's got Zach Martin, Joe Looney, and Connor Williams as the interior offensive linemen. Martin's probably the best right guard in the NFL, and although Looney and Williams are a little bit questionable, that offensive line is one of the best in the NFL. They also do have Blake Jarwin, who, although probably isn't a top 15 tight end, is still a solid guy for Dak in the passing game. Therefore, with all of the weapons that Dak has at his disposal in Dallas, I think he could be an MVP kind of player. He put up crazy numbers. I mean, I think he could put up 50, 100 yards, maybe 35, 36 touchdowns, and probably 10 interceptions. And if he leads this team into the playoffs on a deep run, then I think Dak could be an MVP favorite. As I said, he's got a ton of weapons, and this offense was already one of the best in the NFL last season. So I think you should see that trend continue in 2020, and perhaps that could elevate Dak to an MVP kind of player. Finally, let's move on to Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield. With Baker Mayfield, in 16 games last year, he saw a real dip in production. He threw for under 60% completion percentage, threw for over 3,800 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 21 interceptions. He threw for less touchdowns and more interceptions than he did in his rookie year. So what does that tell me? That tells me that in 2019, Baker Mayfield was just not there. And in 2020, I think Baker Mayfield could be there. He's already proved that he can be a good quarterback in the NFL. He did it in his rookie season. I mean, if you remember watching Baker Mayfield in 2018, he was a solid quarterback. And like Dak Prescott, his offense is stacked. He's got Nick Chubb in the run game. He's got Kareem Hunt as a running back, too, who would be a good pass catcher to open up and stretch the field. And if you look at his wide receivers, OBJ and Jarvis Landry are some of the best wide receivers in the NFL. They make one of the best wide receiver tandems in the league, and Mayfield has really elite receivers to throw to. He's also got Austin Hooper as his tight end. They brought him in from the Atlanta Falcons, and Hooper last season was one of the NFL's best tight ends. Hooper is big, physical, can go up and catch the football, and that's what Baker Mayfield really needs in the red zone. He can count on OBJ, he can count on Jarvis Landry, but bringing Austin Hooper gives him a third legit target in this passing game. But let's go back to the O-line now. So they have Jedrick Wills Jr. at left tackle. They picked him up out of Alabama in the draft. But the big guy that they got in the offseason is Jack Conklin. He's a great run blocker, not a great pass protector, but overall, really, really solid right tackle. With him and Wills playing tackle for Baker Mayfield, that's going to be very interesting to watch. Both are really solid players, and I think Jedrick Wills Jr. could be one of the better tackles in the NFL in a few years. They've also got Joel Bitonio at left guard, J.C. Tretter at center, and Wyatt Teller at right guard. Bitonio is a solid left guard. Tretter is probably average to below average, and Teller is definitely a below average player. But overall, this O-line is solid. Also, with the great tight end, great wide receivers, and a great run game with Nick Chubb, Baker Mayfield has no excuses. I don't know if this Browns team makes the playoffs, but if they do and this offense is firing in all cylinders, Baker Mayfield will definitely be at the center of it. He's the guy to wrap it all together and make sure that it works efficiently. So if the Browns end up going on a playoff run or end up going into the playoffs, I mean, it is a 17 playoff this year, and they do have a good roster. Also, their defense is not bad with Myles Garrett. So at the end of the day, this Browns team making the playoffs isn't really a long shot. As I said, it's a 17 playoff this year, and maybe they could slip in as a wildcard team. Overall, though, if they end up doing that, Baker Mayfield would have to step up his game next year. And I don't think that 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and maybe 4,000 yards, 4,500 yards is really that far of a reach. Yes, that's saying that he plays a lot better than he has the past 2 seasons, but when he has the weapons that he has around him, I don't think that's crazy numbers for Mayfield. Overall, Baker Mayfield has shown that he's a talented football player at times in his career, obviously with the Browns, but he's also a former first overall pick, and that shows that he's got talent too. At the end of the day, I really think that Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, and Baker Mayfield have outside chances at being MVPs in 2020. They're not your main staple guys like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers that are always in the MVP conversation year in and year out, but I think Allen, Prescott, and Mayfield are all in line for big seasons. Therefore, watch out for those 3 quarterbacks heading into 2020 to perhaps have an MVP kind of season. Now that you've reached the end of my video, I want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe as it helps my channel out, and check out my other videos on my channel. Also, you can follow my Instagram, the link is in the description down below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, see ya.